Greetings, folks. Patrick here, Eight Questions With. Welcome to the first show of the week. That's right. That's right. Welcome to Eight Questions With. Glad you guys are here. Um, well, Anthony will be here in a minute. And I'm sure we'll see some other good friends drop by. We are bringing back Tim and Tom Gross, who run the GrossFest. That's right. It's convention season, boys and girls. I mean, the weather's warm. It's nice. People are planning to go to the various conventions in their regions. Some will travel, across states to go to them. Some of the bigger ones, of course. But we're here to talk about the small conventions and a trend that seems to be developing this year. And we'll talk with Tim and Tom about that. Um, I have put their GrossFest 2025 has been booked, has been booked, and I put the guest list on the here in the chat. So if you want to scroll up and hit the GrossFest website, you'll see who's showing up. And I must say, I'm so happy. It's going to be a hell of a lineup, man. I'm stoked for them. I think they might have this might be their chance to do their biggest show with the guest list they gathered here. Uh, and there and includes several of our friends, friends of the show, friends that have been on the show. Um, so we're really happy about that. Uh, uh, it'll be a lot of fun to talk to them about how they gathered their list up together, and we'll go over each guest and hype them up a little bit. All right. Well, tomorrow I'll tell you what's coming up on the show because tomorrow night is Robert Lasardo night. That's right. Robert Lasardo will be coming in to talk to us. He is a Grail guest. This will be a very interesting interview. I have so many questions for him. We're going to be talking about his new movie, American Trash, which I have watched and reviewed, and it's a very interesting movie, very interesting film. And we'll be talking to Robert about that as well as his other films that he has done, um, including some that he's doing right now with a couple of people we do know. We know that he's going to be working with film director Austin Gallant on a new film, pretty soon. Let's see. Yep. Hey, Anthony. Congratulations, sir. Got your job training program. That's outstanding news. I think you should just skip 2011 and just move up to 2025 to write about that. You should write about getting your job training. That's a good thing to get. Uh, Robert will be here tomorrow, and then on Wednesday, we do have an early week. We're only going to be on. We're only going to be on for 3 days. Today, tomorrow. I mean, we just moved up the week just one day. No plans in that. It's just the way it happened. And then we'll be talking with Joe Leone, film director Joe Leone will be back, and he will be bringing his one of his leading ladies from his new film, Greet Your Demons. He'll be bringing back his leading lady, Remy Eve, will be here with us on Wednesday. And I have watched Greet Your Demons. It is a very good movie. Very good movie. Different from what we've seen from Joe in the past. And yeah, and yes, as you know, I've always talked about Joe and his ability to cast some amazing actresses. Holds true today. He's got not only did he get one, but he got three. He got three this time. Just amazing actresses, kick butt. Um, and it's a very interesting story. Greet Your Demons, and like I said, it's not. I forgot to mention one movie. It sort of reminded me of two, and that was Dying to Sleep. Except that Greet Your Demons got in tone. It got darker, but uh, Dying to Sleep, it had a lot of elements to that for me, which is really good because Dying to Sleep is one of my favorite films I've watched. Um, and it's a powerful movie. It's not a horror film, not in the traditional way sense. Um, it's more of a family drama, and it's bittersweet, and and it's very well acted and very well directed and written. So I think you'll enjoy our discussion on Wednesday with Jill Leon and Remy Eve. All right. So I just want to know real quick, flashing back up to Tim and Tom. I just want to know if you guys are coming in or if you guys can leave us in the comment section or what have you. But how many of you guys are actually going to conventions this year? Um, I like to know that. I'd like to know if you could just drop it in either, I'll ask this question during later on during the chat with the boys. But if you come and watch the replay, and you get to this part, uh, drop a comment down below and let us know what, if you plan on going to any conventions, and if you are, how many are you going this year? How many conventions are you going to go to this year? Really like to know that. Um, let's see what else is going on. Oh, I should tell you that I should tell you that we have new reviews out. That's what I should do, right? We have two, we have our $2 theater movies are out. Um, so on Dollar Theater Voters Edition, you guys voted for me and the Cheetah to watch 1982's John Carpenter's The Thing, and it's my first time I've ever watched that movie. It's the first time I ever watched it from start to finish. I've seen a couple of scenes in it, like the stomach opening up and chopping the guy's arm off. But I've never watched the movie all the way through, and I sort of know that I might be I might be risking I might be risking my fanboy card in admitting this, but I'm just being honest with you. I have never seen it before. I enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. I definitely will say it was like, my favorite John Carpenter film is still Escape from New York. That's my favorite. Um, I will say that, of course, obviously, The Thing is a better made film because John Carpenter actually had a budget. It was his first time that he had actually worked with the studio, and so he had a $15 million budget to make his film. And when I was watching it, the only thing kept going through my mind was watching it was like, oh, you couldn't do that today. You couldn't make this movie for 15 million today. Um, he's put every penny on the screen, including out of his $15 million. He spent almost 2 million of that on just on Rob Bottin's creature effects. It's an impressive movie, and the cast is like I knew some of the people were in the cast. Like I knew like 3 or 4 people, like I knew, but I didn't know the whole cast from top to bottom. And I was blown away with it. I'm like, man, this is pretty damn stacked. I knew every actor except for one because it was his first movie, but I knew everybody else that was in that movie. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know he was in it because no one ever talks about. They always talk about Kurt Russell and Keith David, but they never talk about the rest of the cast who was in it. So I was really surprised by that. And again, I know that I'm risking my fanboy card in admitting this that I have not seen the movie till now. Um, that movie came out in 1982, so it's 43 years old, and I'm just now watching it. Uh, oh well, but I came back because we have our regular Dollar Theater film review, and we watched a film called Separation. Now, I just got that movie last week at the library. Last week, I picked it up from the library, and I was intrigued by it, and so I said I'm going to go ahead and watch and review it. Um, and the big reason why was because it had Brian Cox in it. Brian Cox is in this movie, so I watched this film. I watched this film, and then I went ahead and started writing my review. And lo and behold, just as I step into doing that, I find out that two of the actors are just now blowing the hell up. Separation came out in 2021, and now two of the actors are blowing the hell up. I think they were pretty relatively unknown. Well, actually, I think one was relatively unknown. One was a child star. But now they're both very well known and rising, and that is Violet McGraw and actress Madeline Brewer. And I hadn't heard of neither one of them before this movie. Now, after I watched this movie and I put my review up, all of a sudden now they're everywhere. So, Madeline Brewer is blowing up. I checked her; she's like now in the top 40 of IMDb. They have like a ranking system over there, and like who gets publicity or whatnot. And she's like 40th. They have the star meters, what they call it, and her star meter is in the top 40 IMDb. I had never heard of her, so uh, but of course, I had heard of Brian Cox, and so I was very interested in um, seeing how he did. And the movie's all right. I mean, it's uh, you know, it's what it is. Um, a good friend Ryan from Real Talk with Ryan, he had mentioned that he had watched the movie because I had not even heard a whisper. I hadn't seen a trailer. I hadn't heard it was released. Um, I was really shocked because it's from a major studios, from Universal Studios, and they normally always throw out promotion for their films. They're big studios. Yeah, they want you to come watch it. Not a single word on separation, not one. But I bet you now it does. I bet you we'll be starting to hear some of that. Some people talk about it now. Now that Violet and Madeline are rising stars. Um, I actually went looking for the guy who stole the movie from me was a British actor named Simon Quarterman, and I'm going like, man, I'd like to talk to him for the show. So I started putting feelers out there, and man, he just upped and vanished. In fact, it's so scary. It's like nothing. No, 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 no hasn't done a project, and I was like, okay, well, did he pass away and I didn't hear about it? Didn't see anything about that. Thank God for that, right? I didn't hear anything about that. And then I thought, well, he is English. So he might have just gone back and did plays because a lot of English actors, they love theater. Holy crow, they love theater. So he might have went back to doing the theater. But I just wanted to say that his performance in Separation was noteworthy. Definitely my favorite performance in the film. Um, so okay, I guess we could show off what else do we have here. As our boys will be here in a minute. Um, so we are going to be having we're going to be having fun in June. By the way, we have our next watch party happening. Our next watch party, um, and we are bringing back our good friend Spider Dabrowski will be here. Spider, who is a friend of the show, he is going to come over here and talk about the film that he made, that he wrote. He wrote the screenplay for, and I do believe it was the first Tubi original to be had on the channel. And that movie is Teardrop. I mean, Spider wrote the script for that. So so we're going to be going ahead and bringing him on June 6th, and we're going to be doing a watch party of Teardrop here on the channel. I love it. I'm having so much fun with this. Um, Having the filmmakers come on in and sit in with us while we do this watch party, and of course, running commentary being what it is, we get a lot of insights, and so it's a lot of fun to sit here and talk about the film. I'm already going to be reaching out to another filmmaker, and hopefully we can get her on here with her film because I was really impressed with it as well, and hopefully we can. once we land it, then we will tell you what it is. Um, and also, we're going to be bringing back. We're going to be. Let me finish the rest of the. Let me finish the rest of this calendar. We're only going to be doing shows up to the 15th. And after the 15th, I'm taking the rest of the month off as far as my channel. I'm making one road trip. On the 27th, I'm going over to Garrett's channel, Video Tasties. He asked me to come over and do commentary with him for the 13th Warrior. Now, you know how to do that, right? So, as the 13th Warrior was one of the movies that me and the Nat, shout out to the Nat, um, me and the Nat did for Clash of the Titans, and we had a lot of fun with that. Man, we had a lot of fun with that. And yes, more clashes are coming. I just gotta I gotta find some people to clash with. Uh, well, if you want to clash, just drop a comment. Any film tuber that wants to clash with the Titans, feel free to drop a note saying, "Hey, I'm up for it." Um, but Garrett's going to be Garrett from Video Tasties is going to be we're going to be watching it and talking about it. It's a great movie, of course, one of my very favorites, and so yeah. But that's the only show I have, only online thing I have going on after the 15th of May. After that, I'm just taking the rest of the month off. Well, those of you who know why. Um, and then we'll be coming back in June. We're already gotten some stuff going on in June, and very excited about it. Very excited about it. And we're gonna bring back some people. We're gonna bring back some friends and make some new ones on the show. We are rapidly approaching our 600th show, and I'm trying to decide what to do with that. Um, I don't know. I'm gonna see how I feel, but right now I might. I don't know. I'll put a poll up there and see what you guys think. If you guys want uh, see if people are still interested in doing this or not, doing the show or not. I got guests, but I just gotta find people to watch it. And oh, the doorbell has rang. Our our convention masters, also known as Gross Brothers, also known as GrossFest, are here. So let's go ahead and bring them in. Okay, we got one here.
Yeah, my brother,
both?
he's running late.
Okay. All right. Uh, that's fine. That's fine. We can chat up a little bit.
Yep.
So how you been? Now you're Tom.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I had to make sure. I'm like, God, are they identical twins?
No,
Yeah.
no, we're actually 7 years apart.
Are you guys really that far apart?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm a little apart that way too with my brother. I'm a little bit further than that out. God, I am too. I think I'm like 19 years. My mom was fertile. What can I say? Um, uh, but welcome back. I'm so excited about this because it's beginning a convention season. They were saying this weekend it's the summer movie season, and to me that's like hand in hand with convention season. Now it's getting to be that time of year. The weather's warming up. People want to get longer days. People want to they want to get out in the sunshine and make some road trips. And what better way to do it than to go to a convention or two? um and that includes GrossFest. um
Yep.
Super excited for you guys this year. You guys must be jacked. Come on, let's just be honest. This is like your best lineup, right?
You know what? We always say every year we're like, this is our best lineup. How are we gonna, you know, compete with last year? And then somehow we do it.
This is truly. I'm gonna wait until your brother gets here, but we're gonna go over your guest list because When you said here's our guest list for this year, and I was happy. I was sort of happy to know that I got like a sliver involved in it because I had asked if one actress could come on your show on your festival, and you had mentioned that we're going to bring her. We're going to have her come back, come next year. But then you changed your mind and have her came in for 2025, and I'm so happy about that because because we want to help promote that. We want to help promote GrossFest.
Right.
And I was so happy to see that she's going to be on. And now, if a guest comes in one year, are they eligible to come in the next year as well? I mean, or do you want to just always keep the lineup rotating because you're only the one day?
No, we're actually 2 days now.
Oh, that's big news.
Yeah, we're Friday and Saturday.
Let me go ahead and make this a little. Let me make this a little bit smaller so we can get both of you in here. Let's see.
That is terrible.
There you go. Now you fit in there.
That's what she said.
There we go. Holy cow! Hey, welcome. Now we got both of you in here. All right. So 2 days. That's new. Now it's going to be Saturday. So is it going to be Saturday, Sunday, or Friday and Saturday?
Friday and Saturday.
Wow. Wow. That's going to be fun. Are you anxious? Is this something that's like are we taking off more than we can chew, or is this going to be? No, I don't.
We
think
did
so
it last year. Was our first year doing 2 days, and it went well. So, and everybody's been asking for more than 1 day.
Yeah, I don't think we. I think that was being. I didn't know that she had done it. I thought I know that she had mentioned it, I'm sorry. You know what? I think we did talk about the 2 days. We were talking about 2 different dates, like doing one in August and one in October, something like that.
Yeah, that's just the 2 days in August, and like I said, everybody's been wanting it, and which it's like, yeah, that's great. Remember, it costs more money, and we're not making the millions like some people think we are.
It's funny because you know what? This is exactly what I wanted to talk to you guys about too, because for the first time since the pandemic, I have heard something. And I want to know if you guys have heard of this coming down the pipe. I think I think they're tired of paying high prices. It seems like every year, you're hearing this too. I've been hearing a lot of the fans talk about it, like they're going like we're only going to do one convention this year, or skip it altogether because every year it's been getting more and more expensive.
Yeah, a few people have said they had to pick which convention they were going to go to this year, and fortunately for us, they picked GrossFest. But yeah, it is getting more expensive, and we try to keep it as cheap as possible. We're still charging the same price we were when we first started it to get in.
And see, everybody else is actually jacking their prices up.
Yeah, we're not trying to do that.
Let's just get through the door.
Right.
Just to get through the door, you're seeing people, paying $35, $40 a day to walk through the door. And that's not including food or the celebrities or anything else. It's just walk. I mean, I remember my first convention I went with my buddy Farm. Man, we walked in and we paid like $12, $13.
Don't forget, you got certain conventions also charging vendors for chairs.
Yeah.
What?
And other things. Oh, yes. You got other conventions charging vendors for chairs and other things.
Wow. I mean, chairs for them to sit on.
Yes.
And they're going to charge for that.
Yeah, it's not just you're charging them for the table. They're charging for chairs. Also commanding if you're not at your table at a certain time, they will throw you out.
What the? Wow.
Yeah. So I just like to point out that
you can't even walk. I mean, a lot of people with their vendor tables, they bring staff with them, and part of the job, like I know for Nightmare Toys, for their table. I know that Christy used to go out and walk among the crowd. It was her way of promoting the table and getting people to come over there and see their vending. I do think the same thing with John from Doomsday Crypt. Also, he brought people to his table, so there would be enough for them to walk around and promote themselves. Handing out business cards or stickers or what have you. But now, if you don't, wow, that's insane. Well, you know what though? That just, it just forces the vendors to, well, I'm just going to go someplace else that wants my business.
They are. They actually are, because I've talked to several vendors that are not at GrossFest and told them, come by the show, see how it is, because they've stopped doing certain unnamed shows just for the reason, or a couple of reasons that I was just talking about.
Well, what states what states are these in? Are these like the big states? Are these like known as the real big conventions? Or are these just...
Some of them are the big conventions, but it's right here in Pittsburgh, PA, that some of these conventions are pulling this stuff because everything's become an autograph show.
Right. Yes. Yes. It's funny. I mean, it's now. I think I asked you guys this last time. But the thing is with with GrossFest is like, if the people want to sign at GrossFest, they have set up, a celebrity has a table. You let them set their own price, don't you? You don't.
It's not even they're setting their own price. It's usually they're gonna, if you buy a movie, a picture, a poster, they're automatically usually signing it. We have not had any issues with any guests. Every guest we have had has been completely awesome and understands what we're trying to do. But also, too, it's like, if you're dropping $20 on their newest movie, yeah, they're more than happy to sign it usually.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but by some chance we come across that guest that's going to charge for an autograph, we're not having any part of that. That is nothing. That's none of our business. We're not trying to, hey, if you're charging them this amount of money, which some X conventions do, why you go to, a certain convention and John Carpenter's $100 for an autograph, or, said person from The Walking Dead is $250, let alone to shake hands with him is, what is it, $40 or some stupid stuff that we have seen online.
Isn't that crazy? You say $250, and it's like,
it's an autograph show.
Yeah.
Period.
I mean, normally you would laugh at that, because you think that you're using it as an example. Well, no, that's not the example. That's the reality. If you want to go see Jeffrey Dean Morgan and and get his autograph, it could cost you that $250. Which boggles my mind. It boggles my mind that, honestly, that they ask for that kind of money. But promoters are terrible.
Here's the other thing too, though. You got to understand, those celebrities, and I get it, they ask for it because they get it. And plus, there is some pressure, whether it's from their manager, said promoter of, name this big convention. There's a reason they're there. You know what I'm saying? Like, as I've always said to everyone I've ever come across, it is amazing when you talk to a celebrity as just a normal person. Most of them just want to talk sports, something else other than, hey, yes, I know I was in Day of the Dead, in '85, and that's all I'm known for, blah, 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 blah. Or, just to use that as an example. Right. Or as I always said, I would always love to meet Robert Englund, but I am not going to pay him $150 to see him for 10 seconds.
No, God, no.
Because half, if not 3/4 of my autographs and people I've met over the years, and I've said this many times on many podcasts, I have just walked up to them, started talking to them, and literally have gotten, and that wasn't even my goal. It was just had a question I want them to answer. And I've eventually got a free autograph or got something to sign different things like that, because they just want to talk normal stuff.
We got some people in the chat that's rolled in here.
He doesn't hate talking about Halloween, long as you're giving him a paycheck. I love Carpenter. I love him. He loves his weed, but he will seem like he's hating talking about Halloween until you give him another paycheck.
Our good friend Rick is here from Sub Rosa Film Distributor. He's a film distributor, and he says, "Who wants to see Art the Clown all year?" Yeah, I mean, he does appear in a lot of conventions, doesn't he? He definitely makes the convention circuit.
Well, again, that's where you make a lot of money if you
I don't
are that
begrudge
type of celebrity.
I don't begrudge that of David Howard Thornton at all.
No, I don't either. But also, too, the promoters are more than willing to throw that money at him because everybody wants to meet him. But there's going to be a problem very soon, because I already hear this through social media chatter, hardcore horror movie fans that compared the Terrifier series, right or wrong, compare it to Funko Pops. And it exists merely to sell merchandise, not to be a movie franchise. And there's a whole argument in that and everything else. But you got to understand, when the Jason franchise or Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, none of them were meant to be a merchandise giant. They eventually became that. But it seems like the Terrifier movies are literally being made to sell merchandise. I mean, you've kind of crossed that. You cross, how they even say it, you've gone past the Rubicon. When before Terrifier 3 comes out, you can buy Art the Clown in Target. And it's like, does everybody remember Walmart was censoring horror movies not even 20 years ago?
Yeah, movies and hell, they still are.
But I'm
remember the movie Satanic Panic?
People forget this stuff, but hey, I need the next, Art the Clown, and I don't blame them. Yeah, not the people buying it, but I don't blame the celebrities. It's like, hey, make your money while you can. I get it, but at some point, you need to say stop.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think, yeah. To me, it's like, a lot of promoters, a lot of people look at the price and they blame the celebrity for this. And
it's not always. I will say this right now. I'd say maybe 1 out of every 100 celebrities, it is the celebrity. There is a select few, but a lot of it is managers, promoters. Remember who is behind a lot of the, especially the horror people. There is only a couple of agents, and I know the horror fans know who they are. So there's no point in naming names, and I'm not throwing anybody under the bus. But the other point is, too, this is why they charge what they charge. If people are going to still pay it and stand in line for 8 hours, more power to you.
Yeah, a lot of promoters, they set the price. They set the price. They walk up there and they look at their highest name celebrity, whoever it may be, and whatever they're charging, and maybe they do it on tiers now, but it used to be like you could never undercut a celebrity's price. You had to have your price the same as anybody else's. I think there's probably tiers now, because I'll be honest with you, there's no way if you appeared in 4 or 5, Walking Dead episodes that you're not gonna be able to command, $100 for an autograph just because Jeffrey Dean Morgan does.
Yeah, I was even gonna say. I mean, let's not forget it. Just you're speaking of tiers. There's a convention here in Pittsburgh. It's like, hey, you want to stand in line a shorter time? Give me this amount of money, and you can be the VIP line. What is this, Disney? Just stop doing this stuff.
Yeah, I think that's what fans are tired of. That they're tired of everywhere they turn, there's somebody out there with a hand open. They're looking for money. Yes.
And I was going to say, that's where GrossFest comes in. No, we're not bringing in, like you mentioned, Jeffrey Dean Morgan or Robert Englund or anybody of that ilk. Hell, anybody that has a SAG card, please stop contacting us. We literally want you to come and see possibly the next George Romero. You mentioned Art the Clown. See the next David Thornton. You never know who you're going to meet there. 2-3 years from now, they might be in Hollywood.
Great place to meet rising stars. You have two already. You have two on your list this year that I consider rising fast risers. You have
I like to think they all are, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, of course. I would be remiss in saying that, but the promoter in me, the talent buyer in me knows. It's like you sort of can spot, like you can know the ones that are going to rise. And
not just that. Also, too, part of GrossFest is giving somebody a chance. Somebody that wouldn't be able to get a table be considered a guest at any other convention. Give them a chance, and you never know where that relationship's going to take you.
No, I'm looking at the one right now, and before she had never done a convention as of last year. Now she's just like the other girl you have coming. Now she's in demand, a lot of demand.
Who's that?
You have Jessa Flux.
Oh yes. She does a lot of things outside of independent horror movies too that helps, and she's very, very big on social media and several platforms.
She
crosses genres basically.
Right, and the other one is the one I was all hyped up for, and that's Morgan Milan Thompson. I also think that she is also a fast riser, and
I wish her the absolute best. I've gotten to know her through messaging at a little convention in Akron in February. We talked for a few minutes, and it was hilarious because she even said it. She's like, "You're exactly the way you are through the messages." Like she's just. Usually everybody puts up a front, and I'm like, no. It's like you see what you get. It's like we do not BS people. We try to have fun with it, but also get to know them, let them in on what we're doing, what we expect from them, all those fun stuff.
So we got some great responses here, and another guest.
He knows Cameron. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. Let's see. Our good friend Joe Rishley from the Indie Escape Network. Good evening, gentlemen. All familiar with convention shenanigans? I'm sure he is. Joe has got his finger in a lot of podcasts. He gets a lot of public feedback. I am sure that I'm sure he knows a lot about those shenanigans. And our good friend Eric is here too. He's a podcaster, interviewer, also like myself. And he says it may be the promoter, but $400 for a signed Mark Hamill 8x10. Sadly, that makes people think it's the celebrity charging that. Yes, and honest to hell, 99% of the time, it is not the celebrity that's doing that. Nope. It's the promoter that's doing it.
Yes, and that's why I said if you get a chance to even talk to the celebrities normally, like you would talk to your best friend or somebody on the phone. I know people don't do that anymore, but anyhow, it's funny how celebrities react, how they will speak to you. Because we also know there is the crazy people out there too, and sometimes celebrities gotta be on guard, if that makes sense. But
sometimes the prices do act like a barrier.
Yes, but it's funny. If you talk to celebrities normally, they'll talk to you too normally. They're normal people also. It's just some of them, and I mentioned Robert Englund. I'm not gonna exactly throw him under a bus, but this is a guy that said he would never put on the Freddy makeup, but every time that price goes up at a Horror Hound or Days of the Dead, all of a sudden he's in the Freddy makeup again. It's like $25,000 for a weekend. Sure, I'll be Freddy Krueger one more time. And it's like, dude, stop it. You're that good. You don't have to do that stuff.
I didn't know that he was still doing. I know he was doing conventions, but I didn't know he was still dressing up as Freddy.
Yes, that's how you get the photo ops. That's how you spend more money. That's how promoters get people. And I get it. I have a few friends that they will spend hundreds of dollars just to get a picture with like Freddy Krueger in the makeup. Get a picture of Kane Hodder with the Jason mask on. More power to you. That's
They
what you
probably
want.
make.
I get it.
They probably, honestly, and I'm not being facetious about this because we think about it, but they probably make more during the convention season.
They do.
Than they do in doing. Let's say they're going to go shoot a movie.
That's why some of them have made it a career. That's why, if you've never heard it before, certain movies that are made, and I'm sure other people have heard this, but in case you've never heard it, when you're watching certain higher budgeted indie films or B films that show up on Tubi and Fossum and some of these other platforms, they're called convention all-stars. You flood your movie with cameo appearances with said celebrities that show up or get paid to say 5 lines and usually are filmed at a convention. And they probably do 40 conventions a year. And hey, more power to them. That's your career now. Whatever.
Let's see. Lugo Joe saying Cameron and I owned the Indie Brigade Network together for 3 years, so I got him a job at Heavy Metal Magazine. We were with his very first online convention during COVID, but stressful. Yes. Wow.
There was horror stories about that.
So you know what I feel bad for. This is the honest to hell truth. What I really feel best. I mean, just for one thing, I really wouldn't want that. I wouldn't want that label. Convention All Stars. I really wouldn't want that because I feel bad for is the actors that come out and they go to every convention with that one part they're known for. There's a couple I could name, but I'm not because I don't want to embarrass anybody. But there are a couple out there that tour on that, and I feel bad for them because it's like it's a two-edged sword. It's like one, that they, if you really ask them, would you like to do a film or would you like to do another season of convention? I really think that they would love to work.
Yes.
Any true actor, they want to work.
Yes.
It is a shame because it's like, wow, I'm here at this convention and everybody wants to see me here, but I can't get a job. No one will pick me up. Hell, even if it's just for a day, to come out there and do a couple of lines. Just for that chance to sit out there and say, I got a new movie coming out, something new instead of bringing out the same old shit every single year.
And it is a double-edged sword. It is. And some celebrities, yes, I feel for. Part of it is just the industry eats people up. The other part of it is, for whatever reason, they get blackballed or, certain people don't want to work with them or they feel they're too old or whatever role they were famous for, they end up doing several indie films, which also too, speaking of, and as much as I love indie filmmakers, some of them will pigeonhole these celebrities.
Yes.
These celebrities that are known for a certain horror film and be like, okay, you're going to do this again in my movie because I paid your plane ticket for the day or whatever it is. They got that said celebrity there. And like you said, the celebrity just wants to work.
Yeah.
And some of these filmmakers, instead of using passion or intelligence, they find the easy way out. And that's a whole other thing. That's a long road to go down to complain about different people and stuff like that.
I think with the prices rising, and the fans are they're starting to react to that.
Well, the prices have been rising for a while now. COVID kind of killed that, and it seemed like everybody for the first year or two after COVID had to make up all the money they lost during COVID. And instead of just trying to put on the best show possible, we got to make up the money. Well, now that you killed off several of the regular conventions that people enjoyed, some of these conventions, yes, they can just throw out numbers, and people are like, well, I only go to this one because this one's the closest to me. They don't travel, or it all depends what's going on. Like, horror fans can be finicky. I always talk about Pittsburgh. And I love and hate Pittsburgh at the same time. GrossFest thrives. And the sad part is, I don't think it's a lot of Pittsburgh people. It is a lot of people from out of state, several states, that come and hear about us and hear about what we are doing, and they want to be a part of it.
I think part of that, like I know that Steve Brzezinski, he's based in Pittsburgh, and he shoots there and makes movies there, and he's going to be a guest at GrossFest. He said the same thing too. He says, here we are in Pittsburgh, and he says, I have to basically pound my fist bloody to get noticed.
Yes,
and
he's not wrong. He's not wrong. Steve and I have this conversation, and I say to him all the time, his only mistake is not having famous actor Tom Gross in his movies, which would get him noticed in Pittsburgh. But yeah, Steve is not wrong. And I bet you any amount of money, if you talk to Zane and Justin of the Barn guys who are working on the Barn 3, I bet you if you talk to Fred Vogel, these people that work around the area, they'll go to Iowa, and people will find them. In Pittsburgh, it's a weird thing.
Our friend Rick from Sabrosa, he says, has Toe Tag been to GrossFest? Is Toe Tag a production company on a fellow?
Yeah, Toe Tag Pictures is based out of Pittsburgh, and yes, Fred Vogel was with us. I think we had him. Was it the first one or second one? 19. 19. We had him at the second one because we also ran into him at a Slayer concert like a week or two before GrossFest. But yeah, he's on our list at some point to get him again. At the time, like, I've talked to him over the years. He's either been on another project or things like that. Just things haven't lined up to get Fred and his wife Shelby back just yet. As I always say to people, we try to have everybody at least once, and we're kind of old school. I have a notebook that has names in it.
Your Grail list, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. The people you really want them to come onto your show. I have that too. I have a Grail list.
That sounds about right about John Dugan.
Oh my gosh, I saw that. It says John Dugan is a good friend. We attempted to have him come onto the show with Terry Jarrell, and that was an adventure. That was an adventure. It was like 15 minutes of flying a plane with no control. It was entertaining though. But I'm glad to sit there and say that he was on the show, even if I had him only for 15 minutes. See, Barn Guys are an awesome group. I've been seeing that they're filming right now. I've been seeing updates on social media. The Barn 3 is being shot. Yep. Let's see. We focus and push everything underground. Yes. Underground. I mean, this is Rick's at the tip of the spear when it comes down to discovering. I like to think that he's at the tip of the spear when it comes down to, noticing new talent, new filmmakers, new, good screenwriters, actors. There is something to be said to being, to go down for the really hardcore independence.
You just described GrossFest.
Yeah. Now Rick would actually be a hell of a vendor over at GrossFest. I'm just throwing that out at you, Rick. To
Tell them 2026. We sell out quick.
2026. Sobrosa Records or Sobrosa Films. Hell yeah, I'm all about that.
I would love to just have a conversation with Sobrosa Films just about the Amityville movies, but that's for another subject.
Definitely.
Because I have a whole theory and everything.
I got to get Rick back on here, man. It's hard as hell to get Rick on here, but I might have to bribe him because I was something. I don't know yet, but distributing from figures to flicks. That's right. Him and his wife do a great job. And what about you, Rick? Now that he's here, let me just ask him, since we're talking about the conventions. But have you seen this yourself, Rick? Have you seen the what's it like dealing with promoters today as far as getting a table? Because you said you're going to several conventions. What's the attitude? What's it like dealing with the promoters today? Even the ones you have a good working relationship with. Is it easy to deal with them now? I mean, as far as prices, keeping your prices down low, or do you have to talk to them and say, hey, or are they charging you more?
Okay.
Yeah.
SRS. Okay. Yep.
Yeah. SR. Oh, they just we talked to Ron Bonk since we talked to you last.
Okay.
Really nice guy. Really nice guy. Really like him. He's I liked him quite a bit. He was interesting. And
interesting's a good comment.
Yeah. He was fun to talk to, and has a lot of I mean, getting a film distributor to come up here and talk, it's hard as hell. It's hard to get him on here, but he was very generous with his time and came on. We had a great discussion, and he showed us all the upcoming films that SRS is releasing this year, and a lot of fun releases from SRS, that's for sure. All right, so now is GrossFest is 2 days this year.
Yes, sir.
And you had the are you going to stay at the same venue?
Yes.
Okay, so that's good. I can't.
Until they kick us out.
Honestly, my mind is spun that you told me that some promoters are charging the vendors for chairs.
I'd ask around.
Yep.
I just can't even imagine that. It's like I forgot the chair. And
You're not wrong.
Yeah. No.
We get a lot of people, a lot of vendors saying, "Are chairs included?" It's like, yes.
Oh wow. No.
And I was even gonna say, and I know Tom has talked to a lot of vendors, and I have talked to vendors, and they will ask us, do you think our stuff would sell at GrossFest? And I always tell them, if it's something it's offbeat or something, or if I'm always upfront with them, and I know Tom has been also, if we already know we have that vendor, I mean, we know we're going to have indie filmmakers. But if we have like a crafter and they do the same thing, or we have an artist and they do the same thing as maybe another artist that is there, we let them know in advance before they get the table, because we don't want them to be disappointed or have to compete with somebody.
Right.
And also too, if they're on the fence, we talk to them and like, hey, you know what? Just come to the convention for one day. See if it's something you might like in the future. If so, then get on the list. We'll email you as soon as we figure out when we're gonna put the tables out there. There's a list. Come on. There's a list.
Let's see. I noticed that. Okay, let me go back up here to no relation SRS.
I get it. Yeah.
Joe mentions one thing I have noticed to some celebs can't handle their drugs and alcohol and
Not wrong.
At some of these events. Who was that guy from Buffy?
I was gonna say some of the vendors too. Yes.
Well, what about the actor? The one actor he keeps on getting fucked up. He was on a Buffy.
Nicholas Brendan.
Yes.
Oh, did I say his name?
Every season you sat there and just sat and wait for that that press release saying that he got arrested again. I mean,
no, I believe me. I've never. I think he was at one convention I was at, and he no showed at his table for like 2 days straight. But
wow,
I didn't know then what I have heard through the grapevine now, if that makes sense.
He has a he I mean, it's pretty plain that he's
which doesn't make a whole lick of sense, but honestly, if you look at everybody that has branched off of Buffy, you do ask questions why he never actually did something more, let's say.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. I mean, there's another one from one of the Home Improvement. That guy's been in and out. I mean, I've seen him more on a cell on mug, than I have on TV. I mean, he's done more mug shots than he has on TV.
Yep.
I mean, it's hard. It's hard for a lot of these people.
I was gonna say some of these actors, actresses, even filmmakers, we don't know what demons they have to begin with. We don't know what's going on in their personal lives. But also, too, you wish them the best. You wish them to, if they need to, stay clean. But the conventions sometimes behind closed doors are not a good thing for everyone.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, I mean, there's bands that I got approached about booking, and I would sit there and say, no, it's not for me. It's not for the venue. I just, and it's like, I don't really, it just wouldn't be a good fit, or sometimes even here, I've had times where I've had I've talked to people here and I've just said, I'm just going to go going a different direction,
No, I can honestly say we have been nothing but lucky with all the guests we have had so far. Everybody has been quite nice, quite awesome. Also, don't know what to expect from either of us, and are very pleasantly surprised. And almost all of them are like immediately, as soon as the convention ends, asks us, when are we having them back?
That's the compliment right there. That's the true compliment.
I mean, literally, that's what we are going for, because it's the same line every time. It's like, yes, we would love to have you every time, but also too, we like to get everybody else.
Right.
We like to have change it up, and it's not just the guests; it's the vendors. We also like to make sure we're changing it up with vendors also.
The vendors that do the best business. Let's say a vendor comes out there. Let's say it's Rick Sobrosa. He comes out there and he just crushes it, right?
Yeah.
He just at the end, and he comes up to you and says, "Man, I just had the best the best 2 days of my in a year."
Yeah.
Now, will you turn around and sit there and say, "Well, fine, you got to come back next year"?
Honestly, we would love to, but the one thing that has made this unique, or even with some luck has helped us, is doing things we just in our own way of, we could probably sign half of the room before we'd even leave that night if we wanted to, but we don't do that. We give everyone a chance. And that's why I said, he says there's not a list, but we do email some people before we put the tables up for sale, just to let them know, hey, you know what? This is going public. Here's your chance. Do you have the money? Give it to us. You got the table spot. It's one of those things.
I think that's smart. I think that's a smart play. I mean, if they come in here and they promote themselves, and they work, they work their table, they work the crowd. I mean, I'm going to have them back next year.
Yeah, put it this way. Even if you're not doing great, it is.
Sorry. That comment just.
Chuck Pennington's my favorite person now.
Oh my gosh. I have met Tom Savini 3 times, and he was an asshole all 3 times.
Everyone says this to me, and he is nothing but the nicest person to me. In the 3 dozen times I have met him, even when I believe he overheard me making fun of his hairpiece at one point, but that's a whole other story.
Now, but okay, but were you with a beautiful girl at the time that you met him?
No, I wasn't.
Because he loves to talk to ladies.
No.
Okay.
I feel like you have to know how to approach Tom Savini, if that makes sense. I get it. I understand it. I think Tom is a very unique personality, and I think that documentary that came out in the past year, all about him and him choosing to stay in Pittsburgh instead of going to LA, should tell horror fans a lot about him, because he easily passed up a chance. Basically, I mean, he is the godfather of makeup effects. I mean, we got to remember Greg Nicotero is his first student. But literally, he could have went and been a part of Ken and B. He could have helped them even get more jobs than they even had in the late 80s and early 90s. It's Tom Savini. That name itself gets you a job. So
yeah, his name is number one. When someone says name a makeup artist, make a special effects artist, that's the first thing I think of.
Yeah, because he learned from the greats. He learned from Dick Smith. And I mean, and just like you've heard other people over the years talk about Savini and what he was doing and what he invented, or like these little things he was doing. So it's one of those weird things, but anyhow.
Chuck saying I didn't buy anything from Tom, that's for sure. I hear that if you do buy stuff, he supposedly is a lot easier to talk with. But
of course, yes. Well, believe me.
But when you sit there and you walk up there and you say, you're looking at this table and you're thinking, what do you want to get? And then he's there and you say, I loved your work here. Or, thanks for coming out. And he's like, and, it's sort of hard to continue to stand there and go like, yeah, I want to buy something, but I'm afraid if I give the guy my money, I'm going to come back with a stump, and so I'm not really about that. So I'm going to go ahead and pass on that. Let me catch up with the chat here. You guys are really being engaging today. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Indy, Joe wants to know about in Pittsburgh. Where's your convention at?
It's in the Penn Hills area of Pittsburgh. It's right off the Parkway East, which is 376 East. To help you, you could always go to grossfest.com or find us on the Instagram, or I know Tom's on the Blue Skies and that now, and Facebook. Yeah, you could always find us there.
I have the GrossFest page pinned on top of my chat there. So if you want to slide on up there and hit that link and then bookmark GrossFest, highly recommend that.
Yeah, and also too, because like Chuck, my new favorite person, he's bringing up about, glad enjoyed him. He was talking about he met Romero, so did I. That's the one thing I always say about GrossFest. Everybody needs to remember, George Romero is independent. You never know when you're going to meet the next George Romero. So come to GrossFest.
It's amazing how late in their career.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Sorry.
First, are you guys? Oh yeah, Ari Lerman, right? Yeah, he's still out there kicking it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. First, Ari Lehman's always out there. Now, besides me being able to tell you 3 hours of stories off the air about Tom Savini, could always tell you the story about Ari Lehman playing a piano super high one night while I went and tried to steal a cookie truck. That's a whole other conversation.
I want to go up here. I want to scroll back up here and catch a couple other comments here.
Yes, sir.
Let's see. We got Joe mentions here. Joe mentions here about Nick. Nick showed up crashing our weekly live music show and almost fell in a fire pit.
He is not wrong.
Yeah, Nicholas, Nick from the TV show. That's it's sad. But I'll tell you one thing I was happy to see, and that was Ed Furlong. Man, he's cleaned up. He's got himself some sobriety underneath his belt.
Yeah, I'm glad to see he's trying to do all of that. It's a very cool thing.
It is. I caught him on Michael Bihn's podcast and Michael Rosenbaum's podcast, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing. He's a little heavy, but it means he's living life. He's clean.
Oh no, because it's like everybody wants to talk like Terminator 2 with him, even Pet Sematary 2. I really just want to talk to him about Brain Scan, the movie that never became a franchise.
Right, that's the one that I think Fangoria was trying to launch. When they were trying to
well, Fango didn't have anything to do with it, but they were trying their damnedest to make that a franchise.
Right. Yeah, they were pushing the shit out of it.
Yes, they were.
You know what though? I'm with. That's one of the things too about dealing with celebrities too, and that is, man, when you can walk up to them and talk, like I don't want to talk about your best known part. I've talked to people before, after they're known for a certain thing, and I haven't even touched it. I'm going like, nope, I'm out of it, because I just feel like it's been done to death. Now I do know, like someone told me, he says, well, there could be I said, do you get tired of answering the same question? Yeah. He goes, normally I do, but like he said, but in a larger setting. Like if it's like 20 or 30 people and they're all hardcore fans, yes, he gets tired of that. But he says if some of the bigger audiences are out there, and then when you watch, teenagers walk up to the mic and they start asking you the same questions, you're happy to answer because it's just their first time hearing the answer.
Correct. They're being introduced to this person for the first time that maybe some of us have known for 30 years.
Right.
But I will give you advice and some other the listeners and viewers some advice. Anybody that works with Charles Band over the years, you want to hear some funny stories, go talk to celebrities who have worked with Charles Band over the years, especially during the Empire or early Full Moon days in the early 90s. Jeff Burr and John Carl Beekler told me some of the greatest stories of all time. Those guys were awesome. RIP for both of them. I loved both of those guys, but they could have talked for hours about Charles Band. It was hilarious.
I think some of the old classic ones, like I'm sitting there and watching, and I thought this is a little, I thought this was interesting. I believe I was watching okay, so I'm gonna say something here. Hopefully I don't get canceled for it. But I'm ready for you guys.
Yeah.
Okay. So hi Betty, how are you? So here I'm gonna tell you guys something right here that happened, and don't cancel me. So I just saw the thing from John Carpenter's thing. I just saw it for the very first time.
What? We're still doing this podcast? Gotta go.
Dead. So I saw it for the very first time, and I'm going like, man, this is a pretty awesome movie, and I listened. I actually watched it twice. I watched it normally, then I went and I watched it because they had a kick-ass commentary with John Carpenter and Kurt Russell. Just the two of them do the commentary. Outstanding commentary.
Yeah, it is.
And what really was interesting though was there is John Carpenter, and the thing was let's see. Oh, see, look at that. See, Joe says you cats are my kind of people. All right.
Thanks, Joe. It's okay to be that old. If I'm gonna go 60s, of course I gotta go Psycho. If not, Night of the Living Dead. from the 60s.
Yeah.
Sorry, she asked.
No, that's a good. I think I would have to go with Psycho too. And also,
Yeah, I still had to I had to get myself off of you just finding out John Carpenter made the thing.
Wait, what? Can I save myself by saying that I saw the prequel a couple of years ago?
No, that's even worse. That's even worse.
I saw the prequel. Does that count? No. Out. Let's see what I was going to say. I lost my train of thought here. Chuck saying, I tried pitching my movie idea to Tom Savini once. It was called Elephant Man 2. That would be a modern day Driving Miss Daisy, but it would be called Driving Mr. Ellie.
Here, Chuck, I have an answer for you. You really want to see Tom Savini's head explode? Go ask him about jumping across a car with swords in Children of the Living Dead.
What did he
yes.
What did he jumped a car with knives?
Oh yes. There is somebody tried to do a sequel to Night of the Living Dead, even without John Russo, which was amazing, called Children of the Living Dead. And oh yeah, that was a bad decision. I made somebody cry once in a video store, and they worked in the movie and they wanted to rent it.
And you said, you saved them from it, and they said thank you.
No, I just made them cry for even being in the movie.
Oh, they're in the movie.
The movie is terrible.
I never even heard of it.
Oh no, it's quite terrible. I'm sure even the filmmaker doesn't want you to know about it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I was saying about Carpenter, and he was in him, and then I was thinking about George Romero, so we're talking about him. Now I'm not sure about this, but was Land of the Dead Romero's first studio project that he did?
Was
that his first?
No. Was it Monkey Shines? Because even Tales from the Dark Side's kind of studio-ish. And there was a couple other things he did. But Land of the Dead is like literally finally people coming back around to allowing him to do something. I don't know how much control, or that's a whole, you could do a podcast on that alone, but I don't think that is his first quote unquote studio.
Because I was shocked to hear about Carpenter. That was Carpenter's first studio film, was a thing. What did Carpenter?
No, because he did the Elvis Presley with Disney.
Yeah, the TV movie. That's right. Yeah. I was talking about feature length films.
But I was just because he did Elvis Presley, and I forget there was something else he did in between that too, and then there was Escape from New York, and then The Thing, because that's how he got Kurt Russell to be in The Thing.
Yeah, it was funny. It was funny listening to them talk about that about casting. Kurt Russell is sort of like his, he's just sitting in his ear, and he was talking about the cast, and Kurt didn't even mention himself. He didn't even suggest himself, and John kept on looking for the right to play McCready, and finally he said pretty much out of desperation he turned to Kurt Russell and said, "Would you do it?" And then Kurt Russell says, "Yeah, okay." I think
Kurt Russell talked about it during Carpenter's Hall of Fame speech recently.
And he just sat there and said, "Yeah, I'll." And thing was, so he was like sitting there with John and going like, "I'm going to cast this guy." All right, yeah. He's like walking him down the line, and then it's like, "Well, who do I get to play McCready?" And it's like I can't figure out who. And he talked to several people, and finally he turned to Kurt and says, "What about you?" And he says, "Yeah, I'm all in. I'll do it." And then off they went. But I was surprised to see that was Carpenter's first film at a studio. And it was an amazing. I watched the documentary.
It also got him fired.
Really? Afterward?
Yeah, after, because that movie was supposed to be huge, and it got him fired.
Oh my God! He was fucked up though. They put in E.T. Like he came out.
There is a book that I just read. Yes, I do read books. There's a book I read about sci-fi films that were made in a period of 2.5 years, and I'm forgetting the title right now, but talks about Blade Runner. Everybody is like connected, is the point. But it talked about Blade Runner, it talked about The Thing, it talked about E.T., Poltergeist. Just everybody was connected in these movies and knew each other at the time. And everybody was saying, like, well, you should cast this person or do this. Tron even was the last movie, part of this, like, 18 to 24 months of craziness of sci-fi movies coming out of Hollywood. And it's a really good read. I'm sorry I can't remember the name of the book, but it really captures, because there's interviews with Spielberg, there's interviews with Tobe Hooper, John Carpenter, explaining everything that's going on at that time and who they're saying this, that, and the other thing to cast. And you get an idea of how Harrison Ford, Ridley Scott got Harrison Ford, and how basically helped him become Indiana Jones. And it's just a lot of weird connections, and how, like, Tron, the technology for Tron at the time Tron was being made was 10 years before its time. And it's wild. And it answers the question of, was Poltergeist actually Tobe Hooper's movie?
Everybody says that.
This actually has an answer in that book, and yeah, it's quite interesting. It puts a whole new spotlight on Spielberg.
People said that about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre too. They're like, did Toby really actually do that, or did he have a lot of help? That is sort of weird.
Yeah, yes. Wes Craven did Swamp Thing. Yes. Yeah. Sorry, I'm reading their things.
Yeah, I saw that. I don't think. Cause I knew that I knew Carpenter hadn't done that.
But the question is, have you watched Swamp Thing?
Yes. Oh okay. Yeah. I saw that at the theater.
I thought I was gonna have to, like, go all Dick Durdock on you, and
no. At that time, who could turn down watching Adrienne Barbeau?
You got that correct, my friend.
Oh yeah, hell yeah! That's the see. The thing is, it's a very well made film, right? It's a better made film. But my favorite Carpenter film still is Escape from New York.
Escape from New York is absolutely wonderful. It's a very good answer, sir.
Yeah, I love that film. There's so many.
I will always say John Carpenter's The Thing is a movie that every time I watch it, I see something different in the movie.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a bit. Let's go back to GrossFest, because
let's go back.
We got to go back to GrossFest because we got to hype up this year's lineup, and let's talk about first of all, did you already have an idea? Oh, let me catch up real quick. Joe is medicated. Okay.
Yes, he is.
Let's see. Well, I didn't know that, Joe. Sorry about that. Getting meds adjusted over a heart attack from early January. Geez. Yikes. I'm too young for this shit. Yes. To quote Danny Glover, yes, you are too young for this shit.
Which Danny Glover, what was he, under 50 when he made Lethal Weapon, and he kept saying he's too old for this shit?
Right. And he says that shit every movie too. The Oliver Robbins answered the Spielberg Hooper question when we had him on the show. Like, who directed it?
It's not so much who directed it. Like, Spielberg, the whole thing of it was from this book's perspective, as Indie Escape Network was saying they had him on the show, and I don't want to discredit anything they did, but in this book they were explaining that Spielberg was working on 2 projects at the same time, and Poltergeist was the second one. Poltergeist was actually started off as E.T. Part 2. It became E.T. It's a weird thing, like way too long to explain, but he came up with, it was supposed to be E.T. And basically what it comes down to is Spielberg couldn't keep his hands off of Poltergeist.
Right.
Is what it came down to. So he was constantly looking in on that, as he had somebody else write ET, and he went to go do ET, and then there was supposed to be a sequel to ET. Oh, there's a whole thing to it. Believe me, there's it. You could do a couple of shows on it, from what I read.
That is
But
crazy.
it did explain, and I don't know what they got on their show, but to me, it sounded, the basics of it was Spielberg just wouldn't leave things alone.
Isn't that something too? And I'm sure that and the thing is, though, I think the days of the older directors, the creme of the old timers that are now, that were, like the kings back in the 70s and the 80s, Scorsese, Coppola, Spielberg. I have a feeling now, like especially for Coppola and Ford, um, or Coppola and Scorsese, is before they'd be untouchable as far as their projects go. Like whatever they wanted
Yeah.
to do, they did.
And I was also going to say a fun fact from the book, and I don't know why, but I think this is still in effect. You're not allowed to direct two projects at the same time if you're under the Directors Guild. And I think that was part of the problem.
That's a good thing too, because I was watching, and I mean, I've seen that before. In one movie, I saw the Corpse Ride, and they're talking about how that was Tim Burton's movie, and Tim Burton, they advertised as Tim Burton directed it, and you watched behind the scenes behind the scenes, and he had nothing to do with that. Yeah, the movie was made pretty much by a special effects guy. I think his name was Mike
So
Johnson.
you watch the special features for Corpse Bride, but you
Yeah.
only watch The Thing for the first time. I'm sorry.
I'm getting my card revoked. I know this. I already know. I've been sitting here waiting for that. I've been waiting for people to come by and check out my review and cancel me.
Believe me, don't worry, you're all good. I have a podcast where I give my podcast partner the same amount of crap. Believe me.
Oh, thank God. I was really strange to sit there and like, oh, man, I can't believe I've never seen this before.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I've seen certain scenes of it, from clips and everything else,
Yeah.
but I never have actually watched it from start to finish. And I was like, man, this is really good. This is a great movie.
It is. That's why we should talk GrossFest.
Yeah. So, as far as GrossFest goes,
yes, sir.
I'm going to bring up the lineup, because this truly is, I feel, your strongest lineup from top to bottom so far. I mean, like you said before, you've had every lineup. You always ask if you could do it better than you did, the year before.
Mm-hmm.
This year is going to be hard to top. I mean, if you're into independent horror, and there's really just a couple of names out there that come out there and grab you if you're really into independent horror. Yeah. And one of them is Mark Polonia.
Yes.
Yeah, Mark Polonia is he is hard as hell to get to talk. I mean, I took my friend Steven over 2 years to get him to do 30 minutes on his podcast. 2 years to get him to come out there and talk to him.
He works and he films a lot.
Did movies. He even did 3 movies with Mark. It still took him over 2 years to get him to come out and do a podcast. So
I will say this: in the little time that I have spent with Mark, I can understand that. But also, too, I knew some stuff about Mark being that way to begin with, just knowing John McBride and having many conversations with John McBride long before Mark Polonia. So
now who's John McBride?
John McBride of Wood Chipper Massacre and Cannibal Campout fame. Also, he is famous for doing Feeders and Feeders 2 with the Polonia brothers, and did some music for some of the Polonia brothers movies in the early 90s. And they were some of the best of friends from what I have been told. And part of the thing of Mark and I talking was that me still trying to reach out and track down John McBride, because everyone has lost track of John McBride.
He's gone. He's vanished.
Yeah, he kind of vanished. It's kind of weird. I do not believe he died. I literally believe just life takes you in a different direction. And sometimes, especially with independent filmmakers that I have learned, sometimes they just disappear.
Yeah. In fact, I was just talking about that before you got on. I was talking about, boy, this is going to be really bad. So before I watched the thing, I watched this horror film called Separation from 2021. So yes, I watched a low-level horror film from 2021 before I watched the thing. So I watched this movie, and I was like amazed that like it came out through Universal in 2021, and I got it because I got it for a quarter, and I also got it because it had Brian Cox in it, and he's doing the horror film. I didn't know that he had done it. I didn't know he had done it. In fact, and when I got this movie, I had heard absolutely zero about it. Zero.
Oh,
and, yeah, it was crazy. I'm like, man, there's nobody reviewing, no trailer, no nothing. I mean, I was just like,
part of that too is it coming out in 2021. More than likely, it's one of the projects that got, as my podcast partner Kyle and I always talk about, it got COVID.
Yeah.
Literally, COVID killed movie projects, even big budget movie projects.
Yeah,
there's stuff that got shelved. There's stuff that got pooped out there in the on-demand universe that no one knew about. Yeah, there's a tons of those, and we're still finding them.
It was funny though. It's like I'm sitting here watching this, and and it was weird because I'm sitting here watching this, and I was like, I don't know any of these people in here except for Brian Cox. And then after I watched the movie, then I went in and started looking around, and next thing I know, I'm finding two of the people in the movie. They're now right here launching. They're launching right even as we're talking. Yeah. Madeline Brewer and Violet McGraw. They're launching. But back then, no one knew who the hell they were at all. And in it, they had an actor, a British actor. He played a good part, and I was curious about him, and so I went ahead and I looked him up. He just dropped off the planet after 4 years ago. I mean, off the planet. There's nothing to be fun about him at all.
Well, it's no different. Some actors and actresses during the 80s of some of our favorite slasher films, they did one or two slasher films, and Joe Bob talks about it all the time on his show that like they just disappear or they got married, or I mean the best example honestly is Michelle Bauer.
Oh, she's just making a comeback lately.
Yeah, she had a career, and then if I'm correct, don't quote me on this, I believe she met the right person, got married, and just decided she was done for a good 2 decades.
Yeah, she's just now popping up.
I mean, it's no different than Barbara Crampton. Barbara Crampton went and raised her daughter.
Right.
And then and then came back, and it was like she with no help of doing another Reanimator film, reestablished herself.
She's lovely. She hasn't aged at all either.
Oh, she's wonderful.
So you have Mark Polonia. So how did you get Mark to come onto the show? Like I said, he's not. I mean, was it through John McBride?
It's a secret.
Oh. Okay.
Honestly, again, it's just as I talked earlier. Talk to celebrities as a normal person. You'll be surprised where it will get you. I met Mark at a convention last year. Never expected to ever meet him, and literally seen him in a hallway. And me being me, I was like, Polonia? And he literally said to me, Tim Gross? And I was like, oh, okay. Wow.
Famous.
And we spoke for quite a few minutes, and then walked around the convention, spoke to him again as I was walking around with my daughter. And he's like, tell me a little bit about GrossFest. And I pitched him, and I just Literally right there and then. I was like, you want to be a part of GrossFest? And he's like, this sounds like a wonderful idea. I was like, I think you'll love it, dude. And that's how he became part of GrossFest. Or as I like to explain to people, that's how conventions used to work.
Now, was he a guest at this convention that you met him at, or was he just a fan?
He was just a fan.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. See, I had a feeling about that because I could not see him at another convention,
No, him and I have spoke several times since then through messaging, and Mark Polonia is no different than you or I. It just like I said, you got to have a little bit of luck.
Yeah, because my friend Steven knows him really well, and it still took him over 2 years to get him on there. I mean, he knows him well, and he still took 2 years.
Yeah, you just got to have a little bit of luck. And I think also, too, being friends with John McBride didn't hurt. And I'm sure John McBride said something to Mark. And him and I have had a couple of private conversations about John McBride. And just like I've said to Mark, I'm going to keep reaching out and try to find John if I can, because I don't believe he is, how to phrase it, I think he's still with us, if that makes sense.
Right.
And I would really like him to, not for my sake, but reconnect with Mark, because I think when they were working together in the early 90s, it was magic.
I will say Mark does have, I don't want to say this in any sort of disrespect, but I do think he has a new right-hand man, and that is Jeff Kirkendall.
Oh, yeah, no, don't, yeah. No, Jeff is newer to the Polonia Brothers Entertainment, and I mean, he's been with them for about 20 years, if I can remember correctly. But he also has Tim Hatch, he has Jamie Morgan. But also, too, you will, paying attention to some of the Polonia Brothers movies when they did a Feeders 3 or Return to Splatter Farm, certain movies that were sequels, he brought some people back that were from earlier films that you do not see now. So I think Mark
I thought Return to Splatter Farm. I thought Return to Splatter Farm. That's actually been I think the best movie I've seen from the Polonia Brothers. I thought that was the best made film.
It's a very well done sequel. But what's weird, one of my favorite movies in something I asked Mark about if we could play at GrossFest, and the basic premise of the whole conversation is I think it has rights issue. They did a short film about 20 minutes long called Tag, him and his brother John. And it's just absolutely fun, delightful, no budget short film they did that I didn't ask them about the rights issues or why we can't show it, but I just didn't want to push the issue because I know it's a movie, and I explained it to him. It's a movie McBride sent to me years ago. And to even explain their chemistry, I will point out right now, the Blu-ray version of Wood Chipper Massacre from TerrorVision. There is a commentary on there with John McBride, and it's Mark Polonia asking questions during the commentary. And it's like you brought up earlier, it's like listening to Kurt Russell and John Carpenter. Like they know each other that well.
Yeah, that was a phenomenal commentary. Yeah,
and I put the Wood Chipper Massacre commentary with Mark and John up there, like the Thing commentary. To stay on the John Carpenter thing, if you've never watched Rio Bravo, watch Rio Bravo on Blu-ray with the John Carpenter commentary. You have a whole new love of what John Carpenter was growing up with and what he wants in movies, especially during the 80s.
Are you talking about the John Wayne movie, Rio Bravo?
Correct, sir.
Wow, all right.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Howard Hawks made that movie 3 times, right?
Yeah, but you need to hear it with the John Carpenter commentary.
Is that the Criterion one?
No.
No, okay.
No,
I
it's
think,
not.
I do believe, I could be wrong. I probably am. I thought that maybe got released by Criterion, because
Criterion might have picked it up, but there's a Blu-ray version of it out there before they got a hold of it.
Okay.
Yeah, it explains a lot of why John Carpenter basically kicked ass during the 80s.
That's a great movie too. Yeah, Rio Bravo was a lot of fun. So was Rio Lobo. Let's see. So yeah, so you got the master. You got Mark Malonia, Jeff Kirkendall. He's also, like you said, he's Mark.
No.
You know, he's a one man promotion machine. Jeff is incredibly busy promoting.
Jeff is a good dude.
Yeah, he's a righteous dude, and been fortunate enough to talk to him. Really enjoyed meeting him. I'm glad to see he was there. Tim Hatch has to be in every of his movies.
Well, I have a new appreciation for Tim Hatch.
Tim Hatch can he's an elevator. He can.
I'm gonna tell everyone now. Go watch Mummy Shark, and you'll have a new appreciation for Tim Hatch.
Oh my gosh, you can watch him in any movie that he's in. You'll appreciate him. He saves the movie with his humor. He is a very funny guy.
Yes.
And why nobody else is? Yeah.
Yeah. Mummy Shark and Trail Cam Sasquatch. Loved them.
Just the names of these movies are just.
And what's funny is, I think the most serious role I've ever seen him is in last Amityville, or no, I'm sorry, no, it's a different movie. Once Upon a Time in Amityville.
And he played a serious role there.
Yes, he did.
He did. He did in the movie he just did. I think it was called The Haunting. Was about, and he actually played a smaller role in that, but it was more of a straight role. He got killed off early. Every movie he's in, his humor elevates the movie. And I've seen movies where he's been in where he wasn't funny, like Amityville in Space. And it was just like you're sitting there watching it and you're going like, man, it'd be really good.
Amityville in Space is I get it, I understand it, but I will always point to, if you want to watch an Amityville film from Polonia, watch Once Upon a Time in Amityville. If Amityville ever needed an origin story, I think Polonia nailed it.
Yeah, and I with Amityville in Space, they sort of took it too seriously for what it was. I was expecting it to be a lot more.
Also too, I think that Polonia wasn't expecting to get like prime time PR of that film. We got to remember that wasn't something just being said on Facebook. That thing was getting picked up by everybody and anybody.
Yep.
I mean, there was legit news. I think, what was it? MNBC talked about it one night.
Entertainment Weekly.
Yeah.
Did a whole interview with him, and I know because I showed my friend Steven. I'm going like, well, this should give me hope again, because look at he did Entertainment Weekly. Son of a bitch. They got the lovely Mel Heflin coming in.
I can't wait to meet her in person.
Not only a Polonia pal, a member of Polonia's troupe, but does also a lot of other independent horror on her own.
Yeah.
Of course, my girl, Morgan Milan Thompson.
She's a very interesting person. I can't wait to see what she does with her directorial debut.
I saw Martian Girl Massacre. She's got chops. I'm very excited to see it. Very excited to see that. It was a great short film. I loved it. I thought it was really well done. Loved the creature. She's got a future. I really believe that. All right. Of course, Jessa Flux or Jessa Daisy, same position. I think I'm just thinking. I'm just waiting. I thought maybe it would happen last year, but I think it'll probably happen this year. But I think she's going to come up to a crossroads to where the demand for her as an actress is going to outweigh the other side of her life, and she's going to have to make a decision. I think
possible. You just never know.
I think someone's going to find her sooner than later from a studio picture and use her. and we'll see her break. I really do. I really believe that. She has everything, especially now in today's world. Especially now, as far as being a actor, it's just not enough. You got to be a promotional. You got to be promotional. Yep. You got to be able to run your social media pages. It's amazing. When you heard Maya Hawke, Ethan Hawke's daughter, sit there and say, "I got to have," they asked me how many followers I've had. Like you would think nepotism would come in and save the day and get her through the door, but there it is going like, okay, so you're Maya Hawke. That's good and everything, but what else can you bring to the party? Do you have a following with you? Because we need a following. We need you to have like 50,000 followers or whatever. And it's not just being skilled is enough, and not just concentrate on acting. You got to do everything else. And if you notice, both Jessa and Morgan, that's one thing you have to sit there and say is that those two ladies understand this.
Yep.
They understand what the modern filmmaking's about, and hats off to them.
Yep.
Let's see, Phil Herman. I've talked to Phil a few times. He's an interesting cat.
Yes, he is.
And
can't wait to meet him in person too.
Yeah, I'll be asking you what was it like? What's he like in real time? And of course, one of my favorite people I've ever met. He is I personally feel he's a hero for me. He's one of my heroes, and that's Steve Brzezinski.
Yep, and don't forget his lovely wife, Eileen Isley. She's about to direct her first feature, which I'm very interested in, which she does, called I Scream. So
I saw that on Facebook.
Yeah.
Let's see. Mighty Casey is in the house. He just got done reviewing that the SRS film, Hoshi 35, that just came out. He just reviewed that.
Okay.
And then Casey came in during the Amityville and Space Talk.
Yeah.
Hear that the musical now.
Yep. If you're talking about I Scream, yes, that's what she's claiming, and I'm curious to see what she does with it.
Well, as long as it's not Joker 2, right?
Yeah, that's what I hear.
But Steve Brzezinski, not only a fine filmmaker from Carousel, but also a tremendous human being. Yes. Do you know what he used to do? Right? He worked for Disney.
Yeah.
He used to do the Make-A-Wish.
Yeah, he was Spider-Man.
Yeah,
and among other
they fly him all around the country, and he would do Make-A-Wish.
Yeah.
How could you not love a guy like that? I just so impressed with that. I just think that, yeah, he's generally really one of outside of the movies and all, he generally is one of my favorite human beings. And I never miss a chance to talk him up. Now I know that they're making I know that he's also has made he's made a lot of films.
Yeah.
And he's also a cat guy. So there's that.
Yes, he is.
Yeah,
he didn't say he was perfect.
Yeah, him and Eileen. I watch their channel. I watch them when they are two very fine people. And definitely. Now, as far as Steve and Eileen and the rest of your guests, are you going to be doing panels? What are you guys going to be doing with them? There is
going to be a panel for sure with Mark Polonia and others.
Okay.
We're going to show Return to Splatter Farm.
Nice. Now, are your guest lists going to be there for both days? So if I can't make the first day, what will I see?
The only ones that would not be there for both days is Mummy and the Monkey.
Okay, well, now that's the only thing I did. That's the only person I did not know. So who is that? Is that
They are horror hosts of old time movies, old school stuff, 50s, 60s classics. They have a YouTube channel. What's that?
Sort of like Swinguli.
Yes, correct. They actually, when Swinguli last year was looking for other hosts, they were one of the first to send a tape in and got on the air to pitch their thing because they've been doing it for several years. And they're actually quite good at it. So it's kind of an experiment. I always wanted them to have them at GrossFest. I feel like they would do well. I feel like they would fit in with our crowd. And we're finally working it out so they could be there.
That's amazing. I love horror hosts. I've had a few on the show. I think they're cool. I mean, I actually had one that stayed in character for the whole show. It was amazing, and he did it with a trash throat. His throat was
Yeah.
but he came onto the show, Ivan Crypto, Cryptus, and he stayed on the show and he stayed in character for the whole damn thing. It was so much fun. It was so much fun. I'm going like, I'm over 60 years old, and I've seen, I was like, it was like going back to my childhood. Sitting here watching him do the horror host thing, because I used to watch Dick Batten Dick Batten. He used to do it. He used to do it out of KTLA and Channel 5 back in the 80s and the 70s. It was just a lot of fun being taken back there. I love horror hosts. I have nothing but respect for them.
I was going to say, depending the area or city you were growing up in, you had a horror host if you were old enough.
Yeah. I remember when Elvira, she started out in LA. She started out as a horror host on a local station, an independent station, KSJ Channel 9, and then next thing you know that she blew up.
Yeah, she did.
Go ahead. Let's see. Whoops, did we freeze? Oh, they froze. Oh my gosh. Uh-oh. Okay, they froze up. They have to. We'll have to see if they can. Let's see. Hold on, real quick. We'll go ahead and wrap it up too pretty soon here. Let me go ahead and. Oh gosh, where are they? Give me 1 second here. Oh gosh. Oh, okay. Wow. All right. Looks like StreamYard has come up and bit me in the butt here. We might have lost our guest here. They're operating off the one camera. We'll give them a couple minutes to see if they can come back on. But GrossFest, yeah, I know, right? But GrossFest is I did put the link down there. It is in August. They're one of the last conventions of the season. I mean, after you go to the rest, then you can go to the best. Here they are.
All right. Okay.
Sorry about that.
That's all right.
Sorry. It's all right. We're gonna keep you just five more minutes, then we'll get you guys out of here.
Okay.
So what date is the festival, your convention on this year? You're like you got the rest, and then you got the best. That's how I'm looking at it. You mean you can go to the rest of it, but then towards August you want to go to the best. So when is GrossFest?
It is August 1st and 2nd.
August 1st and 2nd, just in time for our last shot at summer before you have to start thinking about school. Ooh. It's in Pittsburgh, PA.
Yep.
So there's that. And if fans want to know more, they can go to grossfest.com. They can find you, and I'll put this in the description below. There's also a GrossFest Facebook group that you can go on and join. It's very interactive, very busy. So if you have any questions or you want to meet other fans of GrossFest, that's the place where you want to be. Me and the Cheetah, we go to GrossFest.
You could also talk to famous actor Tom Gross on the Insta or the Blue Skies.
Oh, yes, the Blue Skies. Well, I have to get that. I still got to do the Blue Skies. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate that. It's high praise coming from you. I'm honored, and thank you so much. I appreciate that. I really enjoy Joe and his network, and very high praise for. And I got to get him on the show. I told him, I says, Joe, you got to come on and do the show with me. I've already had a couple of his other hosts. He's going to come over and pay me a visit.
Tell him to come to GrossFest also.
Yes. I'm not sure exactly where they're based at. I think if I'm not mistaken, they might be based in Florida. I could be wrong about that, of course. But Florida's not that far away from Pennsylvania.
No, it isn't. Tell him to pick up Sean Donahue while he's on his way, because Donahue absolutely believes he's a Pittsburgher now.
Okay. On that note, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. We hit our button. I want to thank, of course, the mighty Gross Brothers for coming in. I'm so glad you did. I was hoping you come in and we talk conventions, and we talked about the fan experience. The GrossFest is top notch, top drawer entertainment for the entire family. Affordable for the whole family. You won't break the bank going to GrossFest. Nope. 2 days this year. 2 days. Yep. Tremendous lineup, celebrity lineup. If you're into independent horror films like you say you are, and still haven't seen The Thing like me, then this is the place you want to go to. You want to go to GrossFest. And to the chat, I want to turn to you and say thank you so much for hanging in there with us today. I appreciate you. I wouldn't be here without you. And we will be back tomorrow, 8 o'clock, with actor Robert Lasardo will be our guest. That's a great old guest for me. And he'll be here tomorrow night, and we'll be talking all things American Trash, plus his tremendous career. He's had an amazing career. He has been in everything. He is an elevator. If you see a Robert Lasardo movie, just keep your eye on him. He is riveting, and he's an excellent actor. And it's going to be an interesting show tomorrow, I think. Tomorrow's going to be interesting. I have a lot of interesting questions to the man, and I think we'll have a great discussion. And then, of course, Wednesday, we'll be here with film director Joe Leone and actress Remy Eve from Greet Your Demons. And they'll be here on Wednesday, 8 o'clock. All right. Thanks so much. If you two just stay there for 1 second, and everybody else, I'm going to say good night. Thank you again for coming by, and we'll see you tomorrow with Robert Lasardo. Peace.